there's a term in nutrition called energy availability, and this means after you do all of your exercise and, all of the extra energy that you need, do we have enough energy left over for our daily human functions, for our brain to work, for our heart to beat, for our hormonal system, our immune system, our bones turning over all the time, like I mentioned in the beginning, our digestion, all of that stuff. There's a lot of ways that your body is using energy, even when you're sitting. We want athletes to have a minimum of 30 calories per kilogram of fat-free mass. And there's some maybe confusing words in there. So one, make sure you're working in kilograms. So you can take your weight in pounds, divide it by 2.2. That's how we're going to work in kilograms. And then fat-free mass means all of the tissue in your body minus the adipose tissue minus the fat tissue. So technically, to accurately find this, we would need a body fat percentage. My guess is most of you don't really have access to that. But for the sake of this, we can kind of guess and give yourself a range. That'll be pretty close, and then you can use your best judgment. I know you're smart. Maybe for this range that we're going to make today, let's use 15 to 25% body fat. The majority of athletes are going to fall within that range. I'll put an example up here. Let's say this is a 150-pound female. Keep in mind, this number is before your activity. So then if you're going to go do a 4-hour gymnastics practice on top of this, we need to add those calories onto this. Ideally, we want an energy availability of 45. So if I do this ideal math using this 150-pound athlete, let's say 15 to 25% body fat, so I can give us a range. We put energy availability at an optimal 45, then where do her calorie needs fall? And again, this is before we get into practice. You can see how it's very, very normal for a female athlete to need 3,000 calories per day, for a male athlete to need 4,000 calories per day. This 2,000 calorie food label is kind of bullshit for a lot of athletes. And I want you to start getting comfortable knowing that you need much more than that. The other really important thing when it comes to energy availability is we want that energy available to you at the right time. So again, I know that you're really busy and I know that maybe when you wake up in the morning, you're not hungry. But if we skip breakfast and then we have, something little for lunch, and then we go to this big 4-hour practice after school, and then when we get home later at night, we're super starving, so we eat this insanely large dinner. And even if throughout the whole day you are getting the calorie number that you need, but all of those calories are falling later in the evening, and all of our work has happened earlier in the day, we were in kind of what our body thinks is a calorie deficit when we wanted to do the work. And there's evidence that tells us that can impact your bone health. There's also evidence that tells us, again, even if we're eating evenly throughout the day or we're eating at the right time to support the timing of when we need those calories, even if we're eating enough calories, but we're not eating enough carbohydrates, that's kind of also signaling to our body we're in a deficit sometimes and can negatively impact bone health. Most of you need at least 35% of your calories to come from carbohydrates. I actually would rather see it be like 45 to 50%, but bare minimum at least 35 to make sure that you're getting what you need for your bones. If you liked this, make sure to follow and subscribe to the newsletter so that every week you can get a helpful tip in your inbox and you never miss a thing. If you would like me to take a deeper look at what you specifically are doing, basically do all this fancy math for you and help you come up with a plan for the boxes that we might not be checking, plus help you make that plan feel easy, sign up for a one-on-one. Happy fueling, and make sure you drop any questions in the comments or share what's been helpful for you.